on?
All good. In Portugal with all the smart guys, and you are not there. Why?
What's that?
I'm in Portugal with all the smart guys. Just give me a sec.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I'm in the room next to this one. I'm alone right now. We have a meeting, but Kevin, Ryan, Amaru guys, Haskell guys, all guys, Kevin guy, all of them.
I wish I could travel to more events like that, but travel is super difficult for me.
Why?
My main job is outside of Cardano. I have to be doing every day. I've got young kids. Cost of travel, like plane tickets and hotels and stuff. It's just I can't
Okay.
travel. So.
Essentially, what was covered here is that by the Amaru Treasury Drawer, this workshop was included, and it covered a stay. So the only thing that was paid was actually plane tickets, which was nice. But essentially, it is good. We did cover a lot of interesting stuff. Some of them were not interesting, at least to me, but that's how it is usually. So, yeah. Let's see who else is going to be here. Oh, Neil. Hi.
Don't sound so surprised.
No, it's yeah. I didn't see you for a while.
Yeah, things didn't work out, as you say, right? I
I haven't
was busy and traveling.
But you
I
look
haven't
happy.
even looked at the agenda. There's so many different things going on. I can't keep up.
I will add the agenda just to wait a little bit more. I don't know. It's 3 of you, so you cannot decide anything. Kevin is in the room next to this one. I don't know whether anybody else is actually from the DSC is here, other than Kevin.
We can give it a few minutes, and if you're really not that quiet and all that thing. Did we ever get the slides from the security discussion yet? Because I was interested, hence I put all the questions in before I left. Yeah, last week.
Which slides on which?
Basically, you had a presentation last week from the quantum encryption stuff, right? Yeah. I had a bunch of questions that I threw in. Hopefully, they got asked, and I was trying to look at the slides to see what the answers were. Right?
Okay. But I didn't get.
We have a quantum expert with us now. Alex had the leading
like a quantum
leading algorithm in the whole world for 12 minutes yesterday. So, with the fewest Toffoli gates and qubits. I just actually used all my tokens trying to do it, but I couldn't find a better solution.
That's pretty cool there.
Yeah, I remember that when people were cracking DES, the first version of it.
Oh.
And I had an undergrad. No, I had a. What was he? A master's, undergrad? I can't remember. He went on to a PhD with me. We actually did some work on TLS. Found some flaws in it. But one of the interesting things was it cheaper to wait, or buy the machinery to break DES? That was the question that was being asked. We asked that. And it turned out the optimum solution was going to be broken in about 15 years. So the answer was to be by the speed of the system. You'd wait 14 years and spend the money.
Yeah.
Because that's when you get the cheapest cost point.
I got to do a couple of fun projects breaking WPA2 and WPA3 back in the day. But wireless stuff is a bit of a different game.
Oh, wireless is just too easy.
Yeah. You just force a DAuth, and then you capture the handshake of them trying to re-authenticate, and you can.
And anybody can force it. And anybody can force a DAuth. Yes.
Yeah. You just have to be physically in the vicinity is the only thing.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, we can chat. We're waiting to become sort of Corvette, because if we're not sort of Corvette, and there's anything desperate we have to do, then I can try to keep catching up.
Okay, I can share the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what Kevin shared with me. just a second. And then also, if any of you like wants to chair the meeting instead of Kevin, feel free. I don't need to. I can do as much as I did last 2 times to facilitate and make sure we are going through it.
Once we've agreed the agenda, I'll take over if you want me to.
Okay.
As much as I hate leading. Right.
Kevin shared the agenda, so it's available here. I can share it on the screen if you want to.
Yeah.
It's easier.
Well, we can. Okay. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we 4 or 5 members?
No, you have 4. So you're
That's
not
right.
bored.
So first thing is we're not covered. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go through them, Oscar. What were the actions for the last meeting?
Okay, I will share another tab then because I have them documented. Okay, it was this quantum guide to share the post-quantum
Right.
readiness slide deck with Christian.
And we haven't seen that yet.
I didn't. If anybody else,
Fine. Right.
Oh.
No, that's the point. If it hasn't happened, right?
that means it stays for the action item.
Yeah.
Also, the second one, I don't have any update when it comes to this one as well. Yeah. Is Christian here? Christian, hi. So can you shed some light on these first 2 action items?
Yeah, real fast. Sorry I'm late, by the way. I'll get it from Hart. There's a conference he's at. I already pinged him, so I'll get the link and share it. And then the side recording, I'm not sure if he's going to do it or not. It's just time, and they're going to be in ETHCon next week. Which foreshadow I'll be out next week. There's a Filecoin and Ethereum conference at the same time.
So we're now at 5. We're nearly covered.
I think you are already.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So any decision would take effect.
But we can decide to make a corporate decision. You don't have to necessarily have to do it. Okay. Griffin.
If anybody, you will be out to Bundestag.
Yeah, for me, it's only 1 week. Unless it's, New York time, it won't be early enough. Yeah.
Okay.
That action item for me can be picked off. I had a catch-up meeting with them on Friday and on Monday. I provided them the guidance of the TSC for DREPs, and it's not quite clear yet how they're integrating it into the proposal examiner, but it's there, and probably we'll get a new section.
Okay.
Does everybody know what we're talking about?
I'm making the assumption that this is some sort of AI technique to evaluate proposals.
It's this
And check
page that we have made with a partner company called Griffin.
Yeah.
If you click on any of the proposals, then you see these 3 sections: constitutional, rational, and integrity.
Yeah.
Constitutional compares the proposal on chain against the Cardano Constitution. Rationale and integrity checks them against different knowledge graphs.
And how are those knowledge graphs generated?
So that's a very deep question.
Well, the point I'm saying this is where they pick their source knowledge will affect what they say at the end.
Yes.
The veracity question.
There is. I'm not sure if the GitHub is open source already.
All I need here is, if they're thinking about it, and then the last question I would have had if I was there, right, would have been, how does one appeal if you don't agree with it?
Write an email.
Right, but they basically they're now positioning themselves as a source of truth.
No, they're positioning themselves as a source of opinion.
A source of opinion, right? So it's going to be very clear that they, okay, fine. But as long as there is a way of objecting to it, this as well.
Yeah, it is.
And they have a procedure for handling such objections, right?
Yes, there is. But really the point of this page is more additional input that you can get from AI dedicated to proposals and not serve as a replacement for humans.
Yeah.
In the loop, not out of the loop.
Yes.
Pretty nice. The site is pretty good. I like
Cute.
it.
Yeah. If you have any type of input or want to add to it,
I do
please.
agree with Neil though. Like I think like the violation section, if there was just like a little link that just said like, you know, debate's the wrong word, but like, you know, I disagree with this. Like I have some thoughts. Like let me see if I can reverse this violation.
Actually, your problem might be that they might conclude it was their opinion is it was false, right? And actually, they've misinterpreted there's something failing in their system. How you need to be able to. They need to have a complaints procedure that's clearly followed with a strong timeline, so you could get, because otherwise people will be misinformed, right? That would be my only point. So I'm being really hard about it, sort of formally about this. SLAs for doing it, things like that. Huh?
You're 100% right, and we 100% thought of feedback because.
Right.
But I do not find this button right now either. So I'm 100% agreeing with both of you. But we did have this user story of disgruntled proposers disagreeing with the AI.
Right.
It checks out. Yeah.
I'll ask and have and where that went to the future. But it exists.
Yeah. They've also got another problem here, he says. I just refuse their terms and conditions and it just lets me keep on going.
They're optional. Yeah.
Optional terms and conditions. Those don't stand up in law.
No, I can tell you what happens. The terms and conditions are specifically for buying your own headers for custom analyses.
Right.
If you connect your wallet, you can also upload your own proposal drafts.
Also, they're offering a proposal vetting service.
Yes.
That's perfectly fine, right? That's their model account.
And accepting terms and service would,
which also gives you a very good opportunity. You upload it, it says X, and you believe Y. They've paid you. You've paid some money, and you can go and beat their door down.
basically.
Yeah, well, exchanging money is an interesting. Once you've taken even a shilling, as they used to say, that's it. You've had it, man. The contract exists. So, okay, good. Thank you. That's great. That's Did we provide that document? You said you were doing that, and you talked to them on Friday.
Yeah, I did already.
Yeah. Bosco, hard work. How is? Are we going to come up? We're going to come up with the hard fork next. Yes.
Yeah. So in next decade. So essentially,
no, that's what I'm saying. Is we don't need to deal with this now because we've got the hard fork element on the agenda next.
Yes, and we had 2 hard fork working group calls in the meantime before.
Right. Okay, so
in the previous.
So this is overtaken by events, right?
Yes. Communication thread. I'm informed. I actually said that in Slack in the TSC channel that we are extending the applications for chair and vice chair.
Yeah.
And so far, if I'm not mistaken, Trishan applied for the vice chair, if I got that right, and no other things has happened. So 8th of June is Monday. Try considering doing that, but that's also a part of the agenda. I think we can cover that more explicitly. And it was for all members to review the UNFI CC minimum size metadata docs, and this is what Alex did, if I'm not mistaken, together with Trans. It was worked on, collaborated, should be submitted this week, and then also this again for submitting candidacy applications. So I would say we go to the agenda and then one by one.
Yeah, let's move on to the agenda then.
Okay. Why am I the first one to say? I can share the updates.
So is this one of those projects where I once worked on a project whose completion date went into the future faster than real time? It keeps on getting further and further to the future. The closer you get to it, the further it went away, and then eventually it started coming back. So what's the bad news?
Bad news. I mean, it depends on pre-prod didn't fork, but it was exactly as it behaved as expected. We weren't just aware of the actual
So wait,
yes stake.
So wait a minute. When you say it didn't fork because the governance action didn't pass.
Didn't pass the SPO yes stake threshold was not met, so
Okay,
it was
fine. So
right below 51%.
Okay, so that basically that has to happen again then. It has to be proposed again.
Yes, I can give you a somewhat better explanation of what has happened. So essentially, Mike,
Well,
you
hello,
want to jump in?
Yeah, I mean, we
Hi,
just
Jack.
so we were just coming to this in the agenda. Mike, give us a.
If
you
you
I
want,
can
want,
explain.
Mike.
Yes. So briefly, they had like 54% of the SPO total stake as voting power, and as soon as we reached the epoch boundary, the the monetary expansion with the miscalculation of the abstain vote, which is the auto abstain from SPOs, is not calculated for hard forks. That was a miscalculation, so it brought their stake down to 50 point something percent, so barely below the line.
Yes. Okay.
So now they fixed it, and it's going to happen.
so don't know.
You
So
don't know.
Can I ask what did they fix?
Well,
They say did they fix the stake or did they fix the code? You implied there was a bug in the code.
No, it's not a bug. No, it's not a bug. It's a bug.
It's a misunderstanding. People misunderstood. Okay, right. That's fine. Right. Okay. So the point is they misunderstood how everything was calculated and didn't have enough. Okay. So they fixed the human side of this problem, and now we're hoping the rest will go on.
Yeah. So there's also something that they weren't aware of, and the increase of available supply on the epoch boundary counts also, but it's not tied to the snapshot itself, and that was a part of the miscalculation. Why I say that it's fixed? I mean, like technically, like it's not fixed, but they barely need 1%. So if they just ask people to vote, then it should be okay.
Okay. So
I disagree on something.
On what?
it sounds like so it's this process is learning here, right? In the sense that people misunderstood how it crossed the boundary exactly, right? So therefore, there's a risk this might happen in the future. We need to raise somewhere that needs to be put on the risk rate and fixed, or at least properly documented. Yes.
Well, it is documented in the SIP itself from the last. Oh, but I understand what you mean. Like we should probably
Somehow
re-inform people.
exactly what yeah.
Can I just bring more clarity, because
Yeah.
you're not entirely true, Mike. What we assumed was correct was that we were at 54 or 55% before the epoch boundary, but we weren't. We were at around 52.1, and then the delegation of 25 million at the epoch boundary brought it down to below 51. And the discrepancy between 52 and 54, 55 that John was trying to figure out was about auto abstain, not being included in denominator. So currently, at the previous hard fork working group meeting yesterday, we said we are fine, we are going to probably fork because we are right now at 58 or 60% based on a different tools. AdaStat or Cardano can, I think, but the tools are lying. The tools are not following this. So the real number right now is around a little bit less than 55. So we have a headroom of like 69 million ADA that would be needed for us to drop down below 51%.
But it's
That's
also
what it
true.
is.
It's also true related to the available supply, though. The snapshot itself takes a snapshot of the amount of stake you got in each stake pool, and it takes 2 epochs. Well, 2 epochs boundary delay before it occurs.
Yes.
Not the available supply. The available supply is calculated in real time at the epoch boundary, exactly as it is for DREPs. That's what I'm mentioning. Maybe it's unrelated to that. I give you this, but like
I didn't find any evidence of that. It can, I mean, any evidence of that happening, because the total supply increased for less than 1 million ADA between the 2 epochs. It wasn't affecting this calculation.
Okay, what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to say what I just typed in there. That's what I think we need to resolve, right? Okay, the learning from this process is the tools beguiled us. They told us things that we believed them and we were wrong, right? How basically we've got to get things to be more truthful.
The most honest take that you can. Just give me a sec. The most honest take that you can have a look at. Just give me a sec. I will share here, so whoever wants.
Yeah.
Just a second.
We're bike shedding this, folks. That's what I'm trying to say. Is we're bike shedding this problem. We understand the problem. We need to record it and tick it off properly, and we need to get the tools to do a better representation, because people are basing their decisions on the tools.
Essentially, this should be the exact place in the Haskell code that explains this, and it has the right comments for this to be understood properly. Can I just go out for a brief minute so I can have a group picture with the guys?
Yes. Okay. So it sounds like the tools are, anyway, I think the point here is it's a risk. Let's not, we can't fix it. We have to persuade other people to do so. Yeah. Do you have some dates now for when do we expect this to now happen? When do we expect the you say it's been resubmitted? When will the hard fork?
No. The governance action is still there, so it will be next epoch boundary. It's still active. It just didn't pass.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, right. So it hasn't timed out, then it just hasn't passed. So it's the next epoch boundary. Okay, but that means all the hard fork submission date has also therefore slipped, because we need a couple of weeks. That, you know, whatever that period was we decided earlier, the hard fork decision, right? Thank you. Now we do need the man back, because he's the one that's got the screen that's being controlled, right? Yeah, so the code actually, I love it. The code's actually got the right code. I can't remember the rest of the agenda, so I can't take over at this point. He's got access to this tooling.
Tex might be able to pull up the agenda.
Yeah, I was just going to say. There was a point we put off. We put off the hard fork from the conversation. We put another one off. I was just wondering if we could deal with that. Okay, so right. Right.
I got a quick question on that first bullet on the screen right now, the Ogmios Kupo fix deployed. I had seen on the timeline that, you know, people were forking Ogmios. Is that fix, like, did we resolve that fork, or are we operating off of that fork? Does anyone know?
It's my understanding that the fork is currently operational unless we determine from that team, unless we're able to find out from that team that they will be updated by the time that the hard fork would be enacted. At the current time, it is reliant upon the intersect fork.
Got it. Okay, thanks for clarifying that, Terrence.
No problem.
Tex, sorry.
Either way.
You can call him Richard for fun too.
Please.
I think next on the agenda is the committee minimum size. CC.
Yeah. So the point with that was what we were being asked to review it. Yes. Have people had a chance to review it? Have they got any comments that anybody wants to make about it was about the not just to review the thing, it was to review the actual wording. Yeah, I admit I haven't. I've only just come back from where I was. So is this something that we're in a position to take a informed view on at this point?
We're talking about the drop to 5 for the
Yeah.
minimum.
Whatever was in that document, because I haven't read it.
I
Right?
read. So I
And
read it when it came out, and I liked it, and I said, "This is fine. I support it." And
Right.
then I banished it from my memory, so I couldn't recite the text for you if you asked.
Exactly. Well, this is my point, and I've read a version of it in the past. So I think I'm going to make the following suggestion: that we ask Bosco to put up a please tick this, for against, and I've read it. You have to tick I've read it, okay, and then you have to say you're with it or unhappy with it, because I think at least the majority of the committee has to read it in order to make a decision and move forward. So I am going to suggest that we ask Bosco set up.
Can't we just show that? Can't we just show the text here and vote?
I think that reading something like this and we're voting on it in real time is not a good way to make large-scale decisions. But I'm willing to be.
Yeah. I only say that because this has been a discussion, so I think.
I know, but the point is, we have to get to a point. We have to have a procedure where we actually. I see no evidence that we have read it enough to vote on it, right? And if we vote on it, then I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by not having read it.
Well, how long is the metadata? If we're talking 20 pages, I agree with you, Neil.
Is it just this much?
The basic of it, yes. There's a reference page here.
Yeah, I've read the PCP. I have read, right? And okay, so right, okay, we can then let's have a look. What's the number it's being reduced to? 7 to 5. Okay. The other issue here is the 90 days, because it's a security parameter, right? That's the thing that they'll add.
Yeah.
Would people like to therefore, if we're going to read it now, would people like to just raise their hands when they want to scroll down?
Almost.
Oops.
Yeah, you're good to scroll.
Hi, Bosco. We're currently doing a real-time read of the metadata so that people actually have read it before we vote. Sorry, try that again. Hi, Bosco. We're doing a real-time read of the metadata so that people will actually read it before they vote. Okay, so we know that it's been read. Okay, and as far as I can see, the key things is it's
looks good.
It's up to 5, right? And the second thing is there's a guardrail parameter, and we believe that more than 90 days have passed. People have known about this for more than 90 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think it looks good. There's nothing left here. The only thing I might add is just what is the reference date for the 90 days? Like if we know when,
well,
we're counting from.
If you go and click on the PCP, the publication on the PCP, right? If that's more than that, oops.
Roasted.
That's wonderful, isn't it? Great. That's what we want.
I love when our tools don't work.
Yeah. Could you if you can cut and paste the URL into the chat.
I see 2 in 1.
Right.
Thank you, Ted.
Is the weather nice in Porto today? And are you enjoying the hills?
But I tried to go for a walk first evening, and it was like ups and downs. It was impossible to sustain for a long time.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing was, it was just the PCP that we were looking at for that particular. Just if you could copy the URL and post it into the other one.
Oh,
Good.
there we go.
And that was November 2025.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's more than 90 days. Okay.
Yeah. So if we wanted to throw in, since November 2025, we could, but otherwise.
Otherwise, but we are referencing the PCP. And
Yeah,
therefore,
fair enough.
yeah, I mean,
As long as that link works.
yeah, well, that's into the governance history. So I hereby propose that we formally bless this. All those in favour, would they like to just raise their thumbs or their conceptual thumbs or whatever, their hands, right? Actually, if you raise your hands, then the count goes up and we know how many people did it. Yeah? For Bosco's help.
Does Bosco count for 2?
No.
Sorry.
If Kevin wished to give him his proxy, that would be fine. But we have no formal. That would have had to be put in at the beginning.
We'll have to go in a poly in Slack unless we open up a poll here in the Google Meet. So for actual recording of the votes, we have to have a verifiable source. The hands
so
are not detected in the meeting recording.
Okay. Bosco, open up one in Slack. We close it in 24 hours. Okay.
To open what? I wasn't here when you started. I mean, like, I didn't understand.
What I want to say is that this is we're trying to vote. We're trying to say we're happy with this, right? We could vote a poll here, or we could vote in Slack. Given that there's a few people missing, we open it up saying, are they, have you read it? Are you happy with it? They can object. They have 24 hours to object. Open it up in Slack, and everybody can go and vote on it anyway there now.
Text volunteered to do that.
Yeah. Good, just do it. I don't mind.
Okay.
All right.
So what has happened with the hard fork topic? Was it wrapped up nicely?
Yes, in the sense that the hard fork topic, it was understood why that the proposal didn't stick because of a boundary condition miscalculated by people, right? And the point I'm trying to make is that somewhere it needs to be better promulgated. The fix is educate people better, right? Number one, and number two is the tool. If people are going to write tools, the tools have to lead you to the correct conclusion. That's the point. I'm not saying they're wrong. This whole word "wrong" bug is a problem. It wasn't truthful enough, right? Veracity.
And they're still false. I mean, like, they didn't do anything, so the tools are still showing wrong numbers, even currently.
Correct, but that's not something unfortunately, that's not something we have a technical control over. We can just point out that they're false, right? And that actually, okay.
We can point them to the right explanation again. And what would probably help is to document it better, as Carlos was also pointing out here.
Yeah, but let's be very clear today. In this day and age, if you were to go to Claude or one of the AIs and ask it that question,
I got it that way today.
It would give you the right answer. So the fact they weren't handhold it is their failure to do design properly, not our failure to.
Exactly. I want to add one more thing. Just like, it's a lot of assumptions that people think are true that I uncovered in the last 24 hours. People are just believing they don't need to change anything because they probably believe they implemented in the right way. So they are not questioning their choice that they made a while ago. So they need to be kept being reminded of it's wrong rather than it's potentially.
I mean,
manipulate.
I would start making comments about red teams and all the rest of it, but that would be a conflict of interest. I'm not going to do
I'm-
it. Okay, right?
I will.
Okay.
I will put.
I
will
mean,
first step back.
but I mean, but the point is the idea that I will just what I will say is that there are two things. People are always certain about things until they're not, right? Okay. And secondly, things degrade, right? The universe around you changes and they degrade. So I don't want to be. Could we move on? We've left this page now. Bosco, as you're taking back control.
I'm taking it back because I want to just clarify what is the situation with Ogmios and Kupo if you didn't cover that.
With what?
Ogmios and Kupo.
But please do clarify, Bosco, because I'm
Okay.
getting incorrect information.
Ogmios and Kupo were released and they're ready from the hard fork perspective, but they were released in a repo that was forked under Intersect. So the thing that needs to happen eventually, and this is a point of discussion with Ogmios author, is that the changes that were done in this cloned fork triple should eventually find their way into the original code base. And that cannot and probably won't happen before the mainnet governance section is submitted. So it will happen somewhere during the voting period.
So
Ideally,
so the point here is, I think as part of the communications, the wider communications with the hard fork, we make this absolutely clear, right? But again, we have no power to force that to happen.
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
It's
And
private project.
right, and the problem, because it's an open source project. It's an open source project.
If I'm not mistaken, yes. But it's again, it's the thing that we should still, when that new changes find their way.
I get all of that, but actually the risk is, because I'm trying to manage the risk here, is that they walk away from it, right?
Yes.
And then basically, I think perhaps the best thing we can do is ask the secretary of the TSC to bring this topic up in 3 months' time to make sure that it has been merged.
It will be brought as soon as it happens, and that will be like
But let's put a timeout. If it doesn't happen, pick a time which seems reasonable, you bring it back up, and then we start worrying about it.
Okay, true. What happens to be is that I'm also not chairing the hard fork working group, but facilitating, right, coordinate. So I will have that topic addressed there long before 3 months. Basically, that's
But
what
the
I'm
hard
saying.
fork, you want to say, yes, it should, right, Bosco, right? I mean, I'm just saying, as the TSC, what we're on trying to make sure is that if it doesn't happen, it doesn't get lost. So if as the TSC you bring it up, we can tick it off, right? It has happened, right?
Yes, it's a big dependency in the ecosystem, and that's why it needs to be addressed in a proper way. So I think there were hands on from Tex and Leandros. So Leandros was having a hand raised maybe because of the voting or because of something he wanted to.
Okay, that's fine. It's an open source. And the reason I was asking about the open sourceness of it, right, Mozilla, right, the license, is worst case scenario is it has to be cloned and managed by somebody else.
Yes, and that's something that
sure that we weren't stuck if that was to happen. That's all.
No.
It just depends on the license.
That idea was mentioned on the previous hard fork working group meeting. So what happens if it doesn't get like it's being discussed? It's being like
and again, Bosco, I'm sure they'll make a very sensible decision, right? But the thing is, I just want the TSC is just acting as the final last resort.
It will be.
Tech, I see. It's got.
Tech has 2 hands up. He has 2 hands up.
Yeah, go on.
So I just want to clarify, when it comes to incubation, part of this whole conversation, if there were to be a rationale from the hard fork working group that says Intersect or another party should adopt or incubate this project, right? We'll assume, just for the sake of this scenario, Intersect, that still requires OSC and TSC approval. So it's
Absolutely.
worthwhile having this conversation while we're discussing it. If the TSC would approve of incubating Ogmios and Kupo, then we can pre-establish that particular vote,
No.
put it back to OSC if that's what the hard fork working group
I'm
decides.
taking no. The hard fork working group reports to the TSC, right? It's a subcommittee of the TSC. So if the hard fork working group reports what it thinks is right, the TSC would look at it and pick it up. What I am trying to do here is I'm not trying to prejudge that. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't get lost. That's all I'm asking for, is that if in a couple of months this is not yet fully resolved itself by itself, then we have an action that we have to think about, okay, which would follow the procedures.
Okay. Just to add on, we are expecting, based on the current numbers, that the threshold of 51% for SPOs will be reached on Friday. This Friday is the upper boundary, so that would mean the paper would be, governance action will be enacted on 10th June, which is next Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then the revised go, no go decision is going to happen on 15th. That was the decision by the recommendation by the working group. So go, no go decision for mainnet submission will be rescheduled from this Monday to next Monday.
Okay.
And when it comes to the risk, everything pretty much stays the same on the level. We intentionally keep the pressure on some risk before, so we can keep attention to it. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Tomorrow is another hard fork working group meeting, so we'll have more information and we'll know more about it if we need to share, but we can share async as soon as we have it in the TSC channel.
That's fine. Okay. But I mean, the thing about having a subcommittee is but is that get on with it, guys. But we need to have risks and manage them. That's all. Okay. So we move on to the now. So we talked about committee min size. You're going to start up a Slack poll now, so that we can basically vote on it. Okay.
Text field, yeah. And then did we cover this one? I mean, this is what Kevin added, so I don't know what can.
Could I point out that this technically should have been in the TSC elected members channel?
Yes, elected members channel at the poll.
Because the technical steering committee channel is open to everybody.
Yes. And the poll, should be for the members only. Okay, post-quantum crypto, so workshop, do we decide now in a week? Not, it was for Alexander, based on what Kevin pointed out on Slack for the agenda, but I don't know.
Can I ask, we haven't got any feedback we haven't yet got the feedback from the conversation last week. So were we to have a workshop, who's setting the agenda for that workshop?
I do believe we have a recording at least of last week's conversation, right?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to get it yet, but I want some text. So but what I'm saying is, should there be an agenda? Someone has to put an agenda together for that, or they're going to supply the agenda. If we're going to take a leading role here, we should be at least start setting the framework for the questions. All right. And do we feel that we're qualified to establish such a framework at this point, given what's happened?
I believe, given the current problem statements,
right,
and some of the input, we could take a first stab at such an agenda. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think I see this as a very important topic, right? The real problem is that there's a whole bunch of interacting things that we're supposed to be looking at, so we've got to worry about that. Okay, so why were these? Yeah, I'm just saying, who's forming the agenda for this? If it's us, then we need to do a bit of work first. Okay, put it off. took the action on the TSC membership to create an agenda based on what they did from the, we take what we heard from Hart and we create an agenda of the things we want to see, and then ask them.
Oh, okay. I'm going to let's see. Most quantum crypto. Okay, upcoming chair elections. I mean, not upcoming, active chair elections.
Yeah.
So self-nomination deadline in the members area is of Intersect website. So June 8th is the cutoff date. So is there anybody from members here on this call who is not aware how should they apply? So
I'm aware of how to apply. That's a different question.
I'm not. Yeah. Yes, I'm speaking. I'm asking technical.
Yeah, no.
Operational one. It's
Yeah.
not up to me to
Please, if
chase
anyone
it.
feels they don't have the procedural mechanism to do so, get in touch with our secretary, who will help
Yes.
you fulfill anything. Okay.
Yes. Also, the fact that Kevin told me in person that he would be willing to continue if nobody else if it's not against the rules, if it's not against the policies.
Well, I mean, well, I'm hoping heaven will continue. Otherwise, I don't think we're going to have enough people applying. Okay. Yeah.
Again,
Look, go and buy him a beer and twist his arm. Okay. Right.
I don't know why I don't have the thing that I added. No, who did add these things?
How's it work? Sorry for the new guy question, but how does the voting for the chair work? Is that like an annual thing that happens?
Okay. Until about 2 weeks ago, what we used to do was we'd have a meeting at which we would make our own choices. Okay. In this wonderful decentralized thing, they've centralized these decisions and imposed them upon us, and now turned it into a centralized voting system that we now have to vote. It's unclear whether this is to be at this point, whether this is annual or not. But as the original setting up of all these committees where they were self-governing, they've just taken this element of self-governance away from us, right? I just need to point that out for the recording, right? Okay, that's what I'm saying is that's how we resolved it in the past. I don't know. Okay. So the point is if there were, how can I put it, at every point in the past, right? If there was any ever problem, people could vote the chairman out at any point in time from the committee anyway, right? Right, and no one ever wanted to do the job, right?
What text shared stands, and that doesn't conflict with what Neil is saying from my point of view. It just complements. So, generally speaking, we do have elections there. We will vote or not. We will have candidates applying or not. Text one.
The chair and vice chair election policy is a newly formalized document by the Intersect Governance Working Group. If this has not been socialized here before, as committee members, you are encouraged to participate in this working group. Right now, as a member of the working group, there are a lot of non-committee members in there.
So
on occasion, do you get out other support? So
this was sorry, Tex. I want to clarify one thing. When you say newly, what do you mean newly?
Newly formalized. So there were rough policies out there, but there was never anything formal. The formal process was, as Neil had described before, the committees were self-operating to an extent.
Right. So as you know, as someone who likes the, I'm going to say this is. I see this as a egregious outreach, which has not been socialized before it was enforced. Okay.
I have indicated as such to the working group and to internal staff about every policy that has been released thus far.
Right. This is not the way that you construct a members-based organization. Full stop. Right? Having been a member of several standards organizations that self-organize, this is not the way you do it. But if they say we should do it, we'll do it. Right? I am not impressed. Which is the British way of saying I'm really pissed.
Well, why is this? No, I got it. Trust me, I actually got it. I've been English.
Okay,
so the text in the document says that it's annual elections from April to April. So I'm confused. We're in June.
Yeah, wait, here you are in June, right? Okay.
So we're voting in June for a thing that was supposed to start in April?
Well,
And then
which we were told about in May.
Jesus.
Okay? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So do we need to say any more? Our time is more precious than just being pissed off by other people. How's that?
I'll just
Okay.
nod.
Let's committee member dismissal replacement policy.
Yes, another policy just like the one we just discussed, recently released.
Oh, this is new.
A policy that what I had released. Here, let me
So how do they get rid of us?
give me just a second here.
Yeah, how do we dismiss Mike? I don't feel
X
comfortable.
space.
So
Is this based off the old policy text?
So I was able to get this approved through the Intersect Steering Committee back in October. And so this is what stood. This was, here's the general expectations, and then if there's non-compliance, the secretary and the chair are typically trying to obtain constant communication with members, so on and so forth.
So broad summary, this is really if people misattend or don't basically take the thing and leave and put their feet up and take the money, but don't do anything in some sense. Yeah.
Yes. And so this was the basis, but obviously a whole lot more was added, and I encourage you to review this at your leisure just to understand it. It's a whole written document at this point.
A committee member votes for 1 month.
Okay. Oh,
Jesus Christ! Way to complicate the hell out of.
you know what? I
mentioned that multiple times in the review process, and
so okay, this is making decisions that this is helping me potentially do other decisions you don't want me to do, right? But because this is just bloody, it's stupid. It's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's like locking things in a basement with no stairs. In a locked filing cabinet when should beware the tiger. This is committeeism gone bad. Okay.
This is micromanagement, but
What do you cut? Yeah.
it's, yeah.
You
I
don't
mean,
let them-
I move to ignore this document and for us to be good at our jobs.
All right. So the vote is that the TSC refuses to be bound by this document. All those in favor? Could we have a vote on that, please? Right. No, I'm being serious here, Bosco, right?
No. I want to lower my hand because I wanted to say something else. I was asking for
So I would like you to put in the TSC again, please, a Slack channel that pointing at this, and the vote is, should we accept this on ourselves or should we reject it? Because if we reject it, they're going to have a screaming heebie-jeebies, and then we can have the fight as to actually are we autonomous or not, and we need that fight. Okay.
I would like something to happen before that, so I'm not for or against that. So I'm kind of neutral.
No, you can't.
I'm
You can't take it. As an employee or whatever. You can't take a view. I get that, but that's why you have.
This is what I'm.
Pains in the arse on the committee to make these comments. Okay.
The thing is that I want to happen is that everybody gets familiar with what's being asked, and then whatever the outcome is, I'm not against it or for it. It's just like
Okay.
I would like to have educated decision on what is
But
true.
from the floor, Alonso, Alonso proposed a motion, which I am seconding.
Okay, but how much time Alonso spent on this? Few minutes.
7
Doesn't
minutes.
matter.
Bosco,
Okay, so
we had this already last year. You said so that everybody can take a time to consider the question being asked. The question being asked is, who wants to be chair? Kevin puts up his hand and Christian put up his hand. What else do we need to do? There is nothing else to do. Please, every year we're overcomplicating this like absolutely fucking crazy. We're 8 grown men in this room who need to figure out who is representing our group. 2 people have. Full stop. Done. Let's vote on this.
exactly. Well, that's it. But the point is, we did that after every after everybody got a chance to get their feet under the table, so they knew what was going on. We had a vote, right? And then we get okay. So, right. How do you want to play this? I would suggest we can't push back against the we would like to, if we want to, let's start with the committee member dismissal and replacement policy, right? I would say we should look at this. We should put the URL into the TSC members only, because this is a members discussion at this point. It's not the wider community. Number 2. The third point then is we should, if Alonso still feels the same way and wishes to propose that our feedback should be, this is a load of dingo, I'm going to quote the Hitchhiker's Guide, load of dingo's kidneys, and it should disappear off the face of the earth, we should basically make such a statement back to the committees, and then they're going to say, then there's going to be this question of whether we're self-governing or not, right? That's what's going to happen, and then that then makes a decision. The problem with this is, with doing it this way, is they've placed themselves above the rest of the committees in their decision-making process.
Christian, go on.
Can I suggest we don't even put time to it on the agenda, because we've lost so much TSC time over the past years for things like this. If we just don't want to talk about it, we just ignore it.
We have to. I would suggest we put it on the thing and we vote it down, because then we have made a decision that we can. Ignoring it, evil happens because good people don't speak up. That's the right. I start from there.
I agree. We will at least have all of this documented in the meeting minutes, and then we can take some actions, whatever the action. That's fine. Define a checklist for layers confidence. Somebody added that. I don't know who. I didn't. So
that's going to be an ongoing one. I am okay. I'm almost going to suggest that maybe we, in a week or two's time, we have one of our other, not the face-to-face one like that, but the next one that follows it, we have that as a topic for discussion. Because then I can be more free and frank about what I'm worried about.
A lot of layers people are actually in the room.
Yeah, and no, and Bosco,
just kidding.
I've heard what they've said, and it's going to be on mainnet by the end of the year. Yes.
I will reserve my own opinion.
No. This is what I've been told. I have my moles, right, and I'm sitting here thinking we can't even get a bloody parameter change through in under 6 months, right? Or a hard fork to occur. That is.
Who am I to say no or yes?
Yeah, well, no. Evidence suggests that's the case, right? Okay. Past history suggests that. So if we were anywhere near having it on mainnet by the end of the year, we would be having test nets running by now. Okay, right? So I am saying that is a disingenuous statement.
It will be noted in the minutes.
Thank you.
Just a time check. We have 2 minutes.
Yes.
I think any other business.
The last thing on here, Kevin asked in the TSC channel about whether or not the TSC would feel comfortable defining a checklist for Leo's competence. That was me that added that. So I don't know if that's worth the last 2 minutes or if you guys just want to discuss that async.
I think what I'd like to do, I would suggest that we put aside one of our internal members only discussions, say a week from now, and we have that discussion. But we have it in Canva to start off with, not public. Yeah, does anyone agree or disagree?
I don't care.
I prefer to have it initially in Canva because this was recorded and made public. Right? There were things that we need. There were things that we're going to put on that list that may have to be toned down before they go public, not to scare the horses.
Right, but isn't there an initial question of like, do we want to define the checklist versus what is the checklist? So,
No, well, okay.
Two
Okay,
separate
on that point,
questions.
Alonso, we are going to be, we unfortunately are in the position of being the parent of the parameters committee, okay? And the parameters committee will be being asked to set the parameters inside Laos for it to go on to mainnet, and there is zilch work being done on this. Okay, so it turns out this is 1 week because we are responsible for the technical steering is responsible for the parameter check. They rubber stamp. They approve the technical steering committee change, the parameter changes committees. We have no way of getting away from this, right? Because we are supposed to look after the overall system integrity, and this is going to be one of: do we have the confidence to turn it on, and at what parameters?
Can they provide a draft of that to us and then we reformat? Or do we have to dictate it down?
It would be nice to think that they knew. That's my problem, Christian, right? My problem is it is unclear that they have actually considered all of the issues necessary for it to be going to mainnet yet.
Then let's just do area of concern or risk thing, give it to them for them to do a checklist, and then we'll
But I think that's part of the reason I want to have this conversation in Canva, right? Is I have access to information, and I have I basically help people perform modeling, and I am very concerned that there's my biggest concern is for the community is that it'll be declared done by the vendor, right? Thrown over the wall and say it's your fault, it's your problem to bring it to life, because the vendor will not take responsibility for that. Okay, I can keep revealing more. Yeah, go on, Christian.
Wrong emoji.
Wrong emoji. So let's look to do that the afternoon of the 10th in the meeting that started 2 minutes ago, because we've gone 2 minutes over. Sorry. Any other business? Then we close the meeting at 4:02.
And great to see all this energy shared. Whether it's good or bad or kind of energetic, it was good.
Sorry,
No, I'm saying it was a great energy share between all of us. So
Well,
we
yeah,
did disagree and agree for the moment, but it was caring.
the worst thing you could do when you have a child is to ignore it and just, right, when you pick it up. Well, you've got to, and if we're looking after, I'm sorry, I'm being very grandfather-like. I'm sorry about this point, but this is something we cover, we look after, we like, right? We want it to succeed. We should be. There should be an energy in it.
Agreed. Stop sharing.
Cheers, then. Bye, folks.
Cheers. See you next
Hi,
week.
folks.